calling this meeting to order. Can we have a roll call, please?
Jacqueline. Here. Covert. Here. Evans. Here. Ozog.
Here.
Onatori.
Here.
And Zay.
Here.
Okay, by way of chairman's remarks, first of all, I would like to welcome Yifeng Liu, who is our new Chief Highway Engineer. Thank you for joining us. Tom Hardy will be retiring next month, so welcome. And I'm going to turn it over to you to tell us a little bit about.
Yeah, so Yifeng is no stranger to DOT. She actually, we hired her several years ago. She left us to one of our city partners. And recently we were able to get her back from the city of Naperville, I'm sure to their disappointment, I know that. And so she'll be overseeing all of project delivery, so engineering, land acquisition, construction, agreements. So so she comes with we'll talk about it in August. I'll briefly mention our budget is the biggest budget we've ever had in DOT. Much of it is capital. So she's come here, hit the ground running, and we look forward to having her to welcome her back to DOT. So thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be back.
Okay. Thank you and welcome. Do we have any public comment today?
We do not.
No? All right. Next, I move for approval of the minutes of our meeting of June 20th, 2023.
Second.
We have a second, and any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, next we have procurement requisitions, and I'm going to move to combine items 6A through 6N.
Second.
Okay, all in favor of combining?
Aye.
All right. Okay, I move for approval of 23-2287, recommendation for the approval of contract purchase order to Southwind Industries for disposal of clean construction demolition debris in the North region is needed for Division of Transportation, period July 12, 2023 through March 31st, 2024, for a contract total not to exceed $15,000 per low bid. I have a second. No, we're going to keep going. Sorry. Okay, I move for approval of 23-2288. Recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to Henderson Products to furnish and deliver Henderson OEM repair and replacement parts as needed for the Division of Transportation for the period July 11th, 2023 through May 31st, 2024 for a contract total not to exceed $20,000, not suitable for competitive bids, direct replacement of compatible equipment parts. I move for approval of 23-2289. Recommendation for approval of a contract purchase order to Street Logic Pro Incorporated to furnish and deliver traffic counting video cameras as needed for the Division of Transportation for a contract total not to exceed $20,529.91, not suitable for competitive bids, sole source provider. I move for approval of 23-2290, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to MD Solutions to furnish and deliver signpost reflectors and linear delineation panels as needed for the Division of Transportation for the period July 12, 2023 through July 11, 2024 for a contract total not to exceed $21,500 per lowest responsible bid. I move for approval of 23-2291, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to Advance Auto Parts and Supplies to furnish and deliver automotive parts and supplies on an as-needed basis for the Transportation Department for the period of July 12, 2023 through June 30th, 2024 for a contract not to exceed $29,900 pursuant to the Intergovernmental Cooperation Act. I move for approval of DTP 008023, recommendation for the approval of a contract to Lightly Enterprises of Ohio to furnish and deliver roll-up signs as needed for the Division of Transportation for the period July 19th, 2023 through July 18th, 2024 for a contract total not to exceed $40,020 per lowest responsible bid. I move for approval of DTP 008123, recommendation for the approval of a contract to Mendel Metals Incorporated, doing business as U.S. Standard Sign Company to furnish and deliver aluminum sign blanks as needed for the Division of Transportation for the period July 19th, 2023 through July 18th, 2024 for a contract total not to exceed $49,667.88 per lowest responsible bid. I move for approval of DTP 008223, recommendation for the approval of a contract to Superior Asphalt Materials to furnish and deliver bituminous paving materials and UPM bituminous gold patch as needed for the Division of Transportation for the period August 1st, 2023 through March 31st, 2024 for a contract total not to exceed $61,400 per lowest responsible bid. Move for approval of DTP 008323. Recommendation for the approval of a contract to Lightly Enterprises of Ohio to furnish and deliver sign faces as needed for the Division of Transportation for the period July 19th, 2023 through July 18th, 2024, for a contract total not to exceed $65,107.67 per lowest responsible bid. I move for approval of DTP 008423. Recommendation for the approval of a contract to MD Solutions to furnish and deliver signposts and materials as needed for the Division of Transportation for the period July 19th, 2023 through July 18th, 2024, for a contract total not to exceed $75,461.20 per lowest responsible bid. I move for approval of DTP 008523. Recommendation for the approval of contract to Lightly Enterprises of Ohio to furnish and deliver reflective sheeting rolled goods as needed for the Division of Transportation for the period July 19th, 2023 through July 18th, 2024, for a contract total not to exceed $90,000 per lowest responsible bid. I move for approval of DTP 008623. Recommendation for the approval of a contract to Robinson Engineering Limited for professional Phase 2 design engineering services for the replacement of the DuPage County fuel facility for the period July 18th, 2023 through November 30th, 2025, for a contract total not to exceed $170,874.63. Professional services vetted through a qualification-based selection process in compliance with the Illinois Local Government Professional Services Selection Act. I move for approval of DTP 008723. Recommendation for the approval of contract to CIT Trucks LLC to furnish and deliver one semi-tractor for the Division of Transportation for a contract total not to exceed $177,526.41 per Sourcewell contract. And I move for approval of DTP 008823. Recommendation for the approval of a contract to Rush Truck Centers of Illinois for the purchase of 8 plow trucks with snow and ice equipment for the Division of Transportation for a total contract not to exceed $2,664,040 per Sourcewell contract.
Second.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Does
Breathe now.
anyone have any questions about any of these items? Okay, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, next I move for approval of 232243. An amendment to resolution DTP 024-1A20 issued to B3 companies for professional design Phase 2 engineering services for improvements along County Highway 23 Naperville Road from Warrenville Road to Ridgeland Avenue to increase the funding in the amount of $46,813.18, resulting in an amended contract total of $663,222.91, an increase of 7.98%. I have a second. Comments or questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next I move for approval of 232251. Amendment to resolution DTR 0242A21 issued to H&H Electric Company for mast arm replacement and traffic signal modification at various intersections within DuPage County to increase the funding in the amount of $1,098.82, resulting in an amended contract total amount of $624,702.37, an increase of 0.18%, and a cumulative increase of $12,598.82, a 2.06% increase. I have a second. Comments or questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Next, I move for approval of 232286, amendment to resolution DTR 0172B issued to K5 Construction for the 2022 Pavement Maintenance South Program, Section 22 PVMTC 18GM, to increase the funding in the amount of $150,000, resulting in an amended contract total of $4,947,388.59, an increase of 3.19%, a cumulative increase of 5.32%. I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next, we have several agreements. I move for approval of DTR 007423, an agreement between the County of DuPage and the Illinois Prairie Path, a not-for-profit corporation for maintenance and stewardship of the Illinois Prairie Path.
Second.
Any comments or questions about this? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
I move for approval of DTR 007523, condemnation authorization for right-of-way acquisition along County Highway 3, Warrenville Road, over the East Branch DuPage River.
Second.
All in favor?
I actually had a question about.
Oh,
that.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Would you mind just explaining the condemnation authorization? What's the process of that?
So I'm going to do what I've learned very well. I'm going to turn over to the state's attorney's office and let Barb explain the legality behind.
Anytime we
What
see
this
condemnation, she's our
We
woman.
have a great team that does right-of-way acquisition, and most of the time, we do not need to go to condemnation on our highway projects. Sometimes we go to condemnation because we have not been able to work out an agreed upon price. In this situation, the debtor is in bankruptcy, so they cannot work out something with us because any negotiation has to go through the bankruptcy court. So that's the reason it has to go through condemnation.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Barb. Exactly what I would have said.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next, I move for approval of DTR 007623, grant of easement from the County of DuPage to the City of Aurora at the southwest corner of Bilter Road and East Eola Highway 14, necessary to construct a right turn lane and sidewalk.
Second.
Any comments or questions about this? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and next I have an intergovernmental agreement. I move for approval of DTR 007723, letter of understanding between the County of DuPage and the Illinois Department of Transportation for the establishment of mutual covenants regarding the improvements of Illinois 56 Butterfield Road from west of Illinois 53 to west of I-355 and at Illinois 53, including replacement of the bridge carrying Illinois 56 multi-use path over the East Branch of the DuPage River, no county cost.
Second.
Okay, I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Old business.
I have some.
Go ahead.
Real quick, brief update on Willowbrook Corners.
Yes.
So as many of you know, we met with them back on June 26th. Chair Conroy presided. All District 3 board members, including member Lucy, were there to hear from the attendees, their issues, concerns about their community. As you know, the Division of Transportation has been working on looking at mobility in the area. And so John Loper provided an update on transit options, mobility. We also talked about infrastructure investment, sidewalks and lighting that they were all very interested in. We continue, DOT continues to move forward with the RFI, request for information, RFP proposal for some type of bus circulator service that would serve this particular area. Obviously, we have to have ongoing discussion with PACE on their van pool program to get the residents and the people that live there to job opportunities or to their jobs. In terms of infrastructure investment, we do have an internal meeting plan with the county board office to kind of review what we heard and what direction to give to departments to pursue. As many of you may know, much of the area there is unincorporated, so it's township. And so it's, any investments in infrastructure would be, we'd have to be discussing with Downers Grove Township, moving forward with that. So that's just a brief update. I don't have any more update for other departments. Mental health was discussed extensively, security, safety was discussed extensively. But for the DOT side for this group, we are moving forward with the transit mobility and then consider infrastructure investment as we meet internally to kind of get some direction.
Member Chapman.
Thank you. Well, thanks for going out there, Chris, and participating in that meeting. My question was regarding the route. Didn't we put money aside for that? Didn't we like 400 or something? 400.
So actually, there was a PACE grant that was given to Mary Keating Community Services or funding. Maybe it was a grant. There was a $200,000 funding allocation that money is targeted toward this circulator service as a transit provision for the community.
Okay,
So-
a little bit of money.
So for DOT, it's not a cost to us.
Okay, great. All right, thank you.
FY24 budget, I briefly mentioned it. Chair Ozog and I briefly discussed it. We'll formally present on August 1. And my last budget, it is 10 million more than last year, much of it capital related. And so we'll kind of go through the differences or what the budget represents in terms of dollars. There are some new positions that we're proposing as our program ramps up so that we can continue delivering our program as the dollars and the funds continue to grow. So we'll present that August 1. Finally, IDOT released their multi-year program earlier this week or late last week. So for DuPage County, I have to look at my notes. So in DuPage County, their 6-year program, I think it was 6 year, is about $309 million investment in DuPage County. In FY24 alone, it's about $109 million. Just remember that IDOT programs everything. So that's engineering, land acquisition, and construction. Okay, and that totals $109 million. And that's state and local projects, for which DuPage County has several local projects in that program. Biggest projects from the state side is the reconstruction and widening of Butterfield Road from 53 to 355. Much needed. We've been asking for that for the whole 17 years I've been here to see that happen. It's how I get to Home Depot. We also have companion to that, IDOT smart corridors. And that's basically signal interconnects, signal preemption, bus priority possibly mechanisms, and that's along Butterfield Road from 59 all the way to York Road. So it'll make transit options and convenience and reliability much greater. That's a $8 million investment. And then they have a myriad of bridge improvements and resurfacings and stuff throughout DuPage County.
Can I ask one more question?
No. Member Chapman?
Thank you. As long as you're talking about lights and roads and everything, I was wondering, we did start some of those flashing yellows, right? Throughout the county. Have we installed those yet, the flashing yellow arrow?
No.
No.
We're studying them. So
Okay.
it's on the 63rd Street corridor in the Darien Westmont area. I believe the history of that project is we've run into a right-of-way issue.
Oh,
And so actually, I think the state of Illinois has asked us to reapply for a much bigger project that gets to do the a much longer corridor. So we do not have any in DuPage County.
Okay, I know
as
we're
of
talking
yet,
about
but
it.
we are definitely moving forward with the net safety fund and 90% of safety funds.
Okay.
So not yet implemented.
Member Zay?
Madam Chair, thank you. Anything on Roosevelt County Farm Road?
In terms of,
State giving money on the books?
so
anything?
it's still in the program. We continue to ask for
Been in the
both.
program for a long
I
time.
know. It continues to be in the program for 38 at County Farm and 38 at Winfield. That's we continue to ask for those projects, and unfortunately, it's just at this point not made
It's
it
not
to
on
the
the
program.
six, it's not on the 6 year.
It's in the 6-year
It's in the
program.
6 year,
It
but
just
it's
keeps.
not
It's not
allocated.
in the annual element, and so it is a much needed project.
Okay, thank you.
And I know, Sam, you reached out to Nick on something, and Nick and I need to get together and get back to you on that issue. Yeah.
Any other comments or questions? I also want to welcome Chris Rose from PACE. Thank you very much for being here.
thank you.
Any other comments, questions? Okay, hearing none, I move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
See, I followed through.